Hi there, it's Stacey from Stanley Young Business Strategies here. I get asked the question all the time, how do I create a quote or an estimate for my customer? So I'm going to show you how to do that here easily in QuickBooks Online. You're going to start by opening up QuickBooks and going up into the top left-hand corner, plus New, and then under Customers, you're going to click Estimate. In QuickBooks, we use the word estimate for quote. We kind of use them interchangeably. You're then going to go ahead and choose a customer. If you already have the customer in your file, you can go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and click Elmer Fudd for today. If you did not have the customer already put into your QuickBooks, you can go ahead and click the Add New button, and it will pop up your dialog box to be able to put in your customer's name, address, and for sure their email address so that we can email their estimate to them. I strongly encourage everybody that when you are dealing with customers to put in their full name, their full address. People like receiving estimates that have everything in there. It makes them feel good. For today, we're just going to go ahead and use Elmer Fudd. So we have our estimation date, or estimate date, which I'm going to use today's date. QuickBooks is very date driven. However, when we create an estimate, it doesn't actually hit your financial statements. So while it's still date driven, this isn't going to affect your books on either way. You might want to put in an expiration date. So if I have the estimate date of September 1st, my expiration date is this is only good for 30 days, and I'm going to put in September 30th as my expiration date, or whatever date that you might choose. Then we're going to make an estimation for whatever the product or the service, usually service, that we're going to provide. So I'm going to go ahead and pick extermination services as we remove the roadrunner from the area. This is a fairly hefty service. There's been a lot of infestation of the roadrunner here, so I'm going to say that it's going to take us 4 hours to do this service, so a quantity of 4, and that drives the rate to, in this case, $380. If you don't have quantity or rate in your version of QuickBooks, that's okay. You can always go ahead and manipulate that amount. Perhaps I'm going to turn around and say that that amount's going to cost $1,000 and put that in there. And make sure you include the sales tax so that your customer knows what they are being estimated, what that tax estimate will be as well. So I'm just going to pick GST for today's purpose. When I'm happy with the estimate that I have put together, I can go ahead and click Save and Send. And of course that will pop up this dialog box where you can always adjust that body of the email. It was really great for giving me the opportunity to quote this for you. I'm really looking forward to working with you type thing. All right. So now it's a few weeks later or a few days later, or perhaps even moments later, and the customer has said, yes, I'm going to accept that quote. You can go ahead and find them in your customer list. So I've gone to invoicing and customers, and it was Elmer Fudd. So I'm going to pull up in his customer file that estimate, and from here I can go ahead and press the button that says Create Invoice, and QuickBooks will take the information that you've put on that quote, create the invoice. Now we have an invoice rather than estimate, and when you're happy with the way that that looks, you haven't made any changes, you can go ahead and click Save and Close. Remember, this invoice date is going to be very important, as that's when it's going to hit your financial statements. So perhaps we did the estimate in August, but that they have only accepted this as of September 15th. So I would just go ahead and make sure that I've put that correct date on there. And again, you can go ahead and send that invoice. And that's how easy it is to create an estimate and turn that estimate into an invoice in QuickBooks Online. As always, if you have any questions, by all means, reach out. Our email address is clientcare@stanleyyoung.ca.